Hi everyone, my name is Karun, and today we at Okta we are here to present you with the State of Digital Trust, a report that we published based on our recent surveys. So, just by way of introduction, I'm Karun Menon, and I work at Okta as a solutions architect, basically taking care of customers in Asia region. Now, just to give you a background, Okta is a leader in identity access management and has been there in that space for 7-8 years. And we are the ones who really started identity as a service in the market. Now, just to give you a perspective around what we are here to share with you, we have the State of Digital Trust survey, which we conducted, and it was conducted before I would say May, and published in May 2021, just now, recently. And it's Okta working with 𝐈𝐴, which is an organization which conducts surveys across Asian market, right? So basically, we looked at Singapore, Hong Kong, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and tried to assess how consumers respond to trust level questions about digital products and digital services. So without taking a lot of time, I'll just directly jump into the actual survey. So these are some of the findings that we have published, and we have put up the links for these surveys towards the end of the presentation. So what we have done is basically we've looked at customers responding to digital brands and digital services, and how they see a brand is able to build that digital trust, right? So these are some of the priority items for Asian customers when it comes to trusting a brand, right? So what are the key things that as a customer I consider when I actually look at onboarding a digital service or a product? So it's essentially service reliability, good security practices. So everybody's now really looking at the weightage of that, like around 23% says that's a priority, right? So security is really a big priority. Then put on from a customer's experience point of view, you need really quick response times. You need easy and transparent ways, frictionless ways to transact with the company, as well as understand what's their privacy policy like, what's their data practices like, etc. People still look at social media presence because that's an easy way to find out about products, find out about services, etc. Then the other aspect is around ethical values and how the company is operating as an organization. So from that, we can clearly see that data and security kind of like runs as the key priority for our customers, right? And if you see where, what are the reservations or what are the, things where customers really feel worried about when it comes to purchasing items and services online, really data breaches, brand image. So brand image is not just about a product, but it's also about the organization having a brand and the trust developed in the market. Website legitimacy is a big problem. Websites which require or have very big forms to fill and ask too many intriguing personal questions, that's not a good thing for our customers. So basically they feel that there is a risk when we do that. Upfront payment without actually reviewing the product or things like that, right? And able to get a better buying experience and no reservations, right? Some people say, okay, it's fine, I'm okay with looking at products either ways. So this is kind of setting the tone to see how customers think about when your brand is. And the other thing about is how do they end up distrusting digital brands? Like, what are the causes when people actually say, oh, this website is not for me, there's something wrong about it. So intentionally misusing personal data. So if somebody signs up with a mobile number and they get a text message from somewhere else, they actually get worried about it. Brand experiences, data breach. Like if you are in press for a data breach, it's obviously a distrust scenario for a customer. changing terms, right? You would have seen, the WhatsApp policies getting updated, and people were really offended, saying, "Why are you mandating certain service terms without, giving us advance to move out of the service?" So these are things which causes inconvenience, and then making erroneous orders, not paying the real customer attention. That's also considered to be a key reason. But as you can see, those are lower priority problems than really, selling personal data, data breaches, or, changing privacy terms, etc., which are very dear to the end user. Now, the other aspect around distrust is, once they lose trust, what do they do, right? So how do they react to losing trust, right? So they change user settings, especially on the phone. They block notifications, they block geolocation, they block what else they can, because they're concerned about privacy security. That's kind of like the immediate reaction, because we've all been taught of how to minimize your threats on a phone. So you try to do that the first thing. Stop company service, right? You offboard from the service, where, we have had issues and with certain products where you see that there's a data breach news, and people just, convert themselves to another service purely because they don't want to end up, transacting with the same service, knowing there's a data breach or, inconsistent behavior. Delete the app. So that's also something we all do, right? Like when we feel something is fishy about a certain app, we just delete it. Terms, stop the company service itself, right? So basically, just hold on, don't use it for now. Keep it there, but don't use the services till we know that this thing has been mitigated. The last is around deletion of the account itself, right? Like with GDPR, you see that you could totally lose a customer, including all his footprints and every information about him, if the customer distrusts your brand. Now, so what are the real threats, right? Why do they think there could be a problem with or exposure with certain risk associated with transacting digitally? The biggest concern all customers have raised is identity theft, right? So if you see across countries, across geographies, it's always data theft and identity theft as the prime reason or the real concern for exposure. Data breaches, so leaked data, backend data breaches, database access being given, or malicious players trying to capture user information, etc. Password thefts, phishing, malwares. You can see the progression as it goes more to social engineering, etc. Once you see that deeper web of activities that could go on. But essentially, primary problem is identity theft and data breach, right? So identity, how do I secure my identity? How do I know that my organization that I'm transacting with is taking care of my identity in a proper way, right? So that's the key, I would say, the realization that organizations have had. And what organizations have started doing also is, when we survey the organizations to see what are the steps or what are the mitigations that you've done in order to attract trust or in order to gain trust of your users by tackling security issues, mainly implement newer security controls, newer applications and technologies to build that strong trust-based system for customers to accept, right? So that's one. Implementing more controls in terms of internal security, having processes, ISO 27001 kind of processes, and adhering to security practices is one big thing. Then others is bought in third-party security measures, right? So you basically now equip yourself with DDoS prevention, malware prevention solutions, etc. But that's more attacked. Not all respondents agree to it, because the real thing is you need to revamp the whole security and applications and the technology around it to actually protect your customers and the customer's data, as well as to protect and gain trust from the customer. So with that, let's quickly look at how Okta, for example, as an identity company, how we view identity playing a key role, right? So identity, how can we use identity management to win customer trust, right? So that's something that we talk about day in, day out. And the way we see it is identity actually gives a frictionless experience to end users. It basically delivers a very speed to market. Basically, time to market is accelerated because you have a single identity layer to take care of. It gives you centralized management, both as a company, so that you know where the customer's data is going. And also, it also provides you with gaining trust, right? So because you have an internet scale security, you actually drive a lot of trust with the customer. No, but it's not easy, right? So it's not just a login form that you're building. Identity is much more complex. That's where this is just to give you a sense of how arduous the task can be. Basically, it can range from simple 4 months, 5 months project, but in a real identity solution, if you have to really build a proper identity system, you would actually end up spending, years and years of work to get to that right level of, digital trust that you need. That's where you need an identity as a layer, where you can actually have a secure identity service, which can be now consumed to, access all your cloud applications resources. You could now start building secure apps, secure APIs, secure IoT kind of use cases to get to the customer with a trusted brand, right? So that's essentially how we look at it. And just to give you a sense that we see Okta as sitting right in the middle of that customer interaction, where your apps provide different ways to get access to your application. Customers share information using social and normal authentication, and data being shared. You need to now apply rules to your marketing systems, your automation systems, to make sure that your customers' interest and privacy is protected. You need to tie up with other security elements like bot detection, etc. You need to secure your APIs. And in the end, you also want to gain insight on how to securely make use of customers' information. So that, in a nutshell, is how Okta sees ourselves. So we see ourselves mainly acting as that secure identity layer with which you can actually build a very trusted relationship with your customers. Now, we have actually shown the report to you. So it's basically the links are provided here. We will be sharing this as well. So you can go to Okta Customer Identity to find out how we solve customer identity issues in the market, how we help our customers transact to their customers. And the report can be found here. The State of Digital Trust report is published. And also what we have is a zero trust assessment. So we conduct these zero trust assessments, and we highly recommend you to take part in that survey, because if you take part in that survey, you understand your level of maturity from a transactional point of view on how you are interacting with your user base, essentially your employees, your customers, and your partners, essentially. So with that, I thank you for your time, and hope you have a good session during this event.